call the select board meeting to order. It's 5:31 for today, Monday, October 3rd. Please join me for a pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chris, we do have a couple minutes before our public hearing for the National Grid. You got anything you want to bring up quickly?
Police department. Actually, item number 3 under new business. They have 14 chairs at the station. They're broken and have no value. He's requesting the board to declare them to be surplus property that can be destroyed and we can dispose of.
Are they computer chairs, Chris, or something, or like
I think
these?
it's just regular office style chairs.
Okay.
So,
All right. Do you need a motion for that? I will make a motion to allow Chief O'Grady to dispense of the chairs.
I'll second that. All right. Any further discussion? Do we know where the chairs are going? I mean,
where are they going?
Yeah.
In the dumpster.
but that's what I mean. They're gonna put them in their dumpster.
Yeah.
They have room in their dumpster for them?
We have, highway has a 30-yard wall.
Okay, that's just want to make sure where they
Put all
go.
stuff in there.
Okay, perfect. All right. Any further, anything else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The other one we could do is, there was in the appointment folder, there's a notice from Lisa Traglia asking to appoint
So that's,
a member to the GRANBY advisory.
right, that's the one for Florence Bank?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Non-voting members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephanie Pratt, Assistant Branch Manager of Florence Savings, to a non-voting board seat to replace Julie Duff.
All right.
So
Okay, motion.
I will make a motion to appoint Stephanie Pratt as a non-voting board member for the COA Advisory Board.
With term expiring June 30th, 2023.
Okay, with the term expiring June 30th, 2023.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Do you have any two-frame rentals?
No.
Do you have any correspondence besides the,
The only item of note in the correspondence is there's a lady who owns a piece of property up on Turkey Hill,
yeah,
and she wants to see if the town is interested in buying it.
we'll
So
just
normally we
turn it over to the,
convene that board of 3 members,
yeah,
and they meet, they consider, and they come back with
Yeah.
a recommendation to the board. So, I think you're on it, Jim Trump, you'll be on it, and you get Bill Shaheen from the Conservation.
yeah, I think Bill's on it too, yep.
What's the committee called?
Land Review
Review
Committee.
committee.
Okay.
We appoint them, and what they do is, anytime somebody wants to sell land to the town of Granby, they go out, they review the land, and they determine if it's beneficial for the town to proceed with the purchase of the property or to decline said purchase.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll just send notification off to those committee members. We'll set up an appointment, a meeting, and discuss it, probably go out and take a look at the land as well. So. follow up with
Well, it's up on
the,
Turkey Hill, so I know you're really.
yeah. I kind of read the description where it was and stuff, so.
Yeah.
But we'll see. All right, I believe it's 5:35, so that brings us to our public hearing with National Grid.
All right, I will now call the hearing to order for National Grid. The Select Board will hold a public hearing on Monday, October 3rd, 2022 at 5:35 p.m. at the Senior Center Building located at 10B West State Street, Granby, Mass. to grant permission to Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid to locate poles, wires, and fixtures, including the necessary sustaining and protecting fixtures along and across the following public ways. So 5:35 p.m. respectfully represents the Massachusetts Electric Company. I'm reading all of that. Because then it goes, yeah, I didn't read that the last time. It was a
No.
smaller excerpt, so that's it, and then she presents, correct?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Just the public notice was done.
Hello.
Hi.
No, it's okay.
If you're all set, you can just, obviously you're from National Grid, but if you just state your name and
I will.
you've been here before.
Yes, Lisa Jasinski with National Grid. I'm coming in to request permission to extend the primary and the underground in Maximilian to bring it to the new lots that are being built at the very end. Right now, there's no infrastructure down there. It's going to continue down the same side of the road that the primary is running on now, and it's about 70 feet, I think, extension to get to the property line of the new lots.
So you're basically just extending the wiring that's there just further down so you can
Yep.
reach a new
Comes out of the
house.
last transformer and will continue down to another junction box where the other two lots will take off from, so will be kind of the point of demarcation between the public and private.
And Maximilian, that's underground, isn't most of the houses
It
underground?
is all underground, correct.
Any questions from the board members?
No, it doesn't look like anyone's here to object or have any questions.
Is there anybody here from the public? No?
No?
I spoke with the one about her today.
Okay.
Okay. And it's just, like I said, it's just to continue the power down the street. I know they're extending Maximilian, so.
Correct. The developers are also spoken with them, so
Yeah.
there's been communication there.
Okay.
Last two lots, but the woods in the back?
Sorry?
The last two lots but the woods?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all I saw when I was out there.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, this time we'll close the public part of the meeting. Anybody have any issues, concerns with it?
None.
No,
Not for me.
no.
No? Then I'll
I will-
entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the extension of the underground pole fixtures. What do you call them, fixtures?
Underground, it's conductors.
Conductors on Maximilian Drive.
I'll second that one.
Is there any further discussion at this time? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
You too.
You too.
Do we have any citizen participation?
Yes,
Are
we
you
do.
here for the 193?
Correct. Yeah.
Just go up to the microphone. You're here regarding the document you have in front of you where the pop-up fitness is.
Okay.
We're going to just answer any questions.
Didn't Chief O'Grady have questions? They couldn't make it tonight?
The only concern that Chief O'Grady would have is that there would be no cars parked along Amherst Street, Kizier, or Easton.
Okay.
Because then you'd have people crossing the road. That's a very busy road.
Yeah,
And you have
Yeah.
concerns on safety.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. We're finding that out, yeah.
Okay.
No, there won't be. We have all on-site parking.
Are you guys the owners of the property?
Yes.
Nice job you've been doing.
No, thank you. Yeah.
What is it?
The event?
The event?
The event is, it's the second annual pumpkin potluck it's called. It's a 1 hour long fitness event with an hour check-in beforehand and an hour social after, so it's 3 hours long. And this fitness instructor from Florida hosted it last year at Brunel's, and this year chose our firm to host it at, and yeah, just a fun morning of fitness
To use
and
pumpkins
wellness
as weight,
inspired.
so.
Yes, and we work out with pumpkin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sit around doing curls with pumpkins.
Pretty
Yeah,
much,
pretty
yeah.
much.
Yeah, it should be pretty interesting.
But, so that was a good fall
Location,
look.
yeah.
Where's it gonna be?
Out back.
Behind the
within
barn?
apple
Yeah, out in
orchard.
the back, yeah, in the
Yeah.
orchard, yeah. So like if you're looking, I actually got an overhead, but like when you drive in, you have the field to the left, that'll be parking, and then in the orchard as well will take place.
And
You
there
got,
will be,
you
sorry.
got a neighbor behind you still, right, in the woods?
Now, maybe at like 45 either way, we have like Tim, who's our new neighbor, he built on the left.
Oh,
And then on the
this one,
right, we
yeah.
have at the end of, what's that road?
Easton.
No.
Notch Place?
Correct, yeah, all the way there. Those people, but they're quite a ways away. I can see their lights in the winter, maybe. The wind blows just right.
Where the car's gonna be parked? In the
The
field?
cars? Yeah, so if you're looking at our property, like our house is here, you have like the main, like the dairy barn, and then on the left, you have like that mowed field, you can see that metal building out
Yep,
there?
yep.
It's up in there.
Up there.
Right on the top of that knoll. It's like, if I can, I'd like to put them into the left, but it all depends on if it can rain prior to. Right now it's dry, it's beautiful, but
Mhm.
play it by ear. So that's pretty much it.
How many people are you expecting?
We've sold 80 tickets now, and we were hoping to maybe get around 100. But we were just trying to, when we were thinking about, Chief's concerns about having too many cars per se.
Yeah.
Like most of them are a mother and a daughter kind of coming, so like there'd be a lot of carpooling. So I can't imagine there'd be too many vehicles for this particular event.
So with that same question, how many vehicles can you park in that area? It's pretty large.
Well, we did before we had all these crazy ideas to do all these fun things there. We had like a family, definitely family, so we just like a celebration of life. I want to
Yeah.
say there was like maybe 150 people, and we had 2 huge tents in that field and all the
All
cars.
cars, okay.
So that's kind of how I'm engaging it, but you never know too, especially with like when things get wet. So I'd like to, after this event, kind of take a picture, see what I can do, come up with for ideas for the future.
Also, there will be constant motion coming into the property where the cars won't have to stop like in the road or right after they pull in. They'll be able to go right to out back into the field so that the traffic keeps moving
Okay.
as people come in.
Well, that's my next question. At what point would, does it back
Yeah,
up
I would
at
plan
all?
to stop them.
Okay.
We're gonna have like 3 or 4 people helping us that day, like pushing cars to the back. And if
Yep.
anything, they can ask what's going on in the back.
Okay,
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Chair,
yes, sir.
one question. In light of the number of people that he's expecting, I believe there's a limit that the fire chief would have to go and inspect if it's going to be inside or under a tent. I think it's 99 people.
yeah, I believe it's 99, yeah. Yeah.
So if you're planning on having that, I just suggest you contact him.
Reach out to the chief,
Just to
okay.
see if he has any concerns.
Okay. So,
Yeah, it's that way you're protected if something does,
Yeah.
if you
Right.
reach that number, you go over that number,
Yeah,
you're all set.
cool, totally. Yeah, I think my plan was actually to send him like an overhead map of where he can drive his ambulance, and it'll be clear if, say, there is an issue. And that
Yeah.
way he can have that information, and then, whoever's on duty can just go right to that.
Yeah, and I think that's important, kind
It's a good
of,
idea.
you just talked about it, as where,
Yeah.
as far as emergency vehicles have access to get in
Yeah.
there if something does happen.
Yeah, 100%. In the past, with events I've done, like in South Hadley, I had to, do emergency for everything from a hurricane to, a stampede. It was incredible, like what you have to do. So I'm just gonna send him that some super simple thing so that he can kind of run with it. And if he has any other questions, like definitely accommodate him for sure. And there's no food really that's being given out, so I didn't feel it was necessary to reach out to Board of Health. But, if when the time comes we do something like that, we'll reach out to them.
Okay. Any other questions?
No?
But if you guys want to work out with pumpkins, you can roll them off.
I live not far away from here, so.
Oh, you know? Okay. Oh, yeah, sometime.
Yeah.
So how many,
Yeah, it's-
I guess question, is, how many pumpkins are you expecting to need?
We already bought.
Pumpkins, how many?
100, one per
100?
person, 5 pounds a piece.
Oh.
Yeah, we went up to Patterson's in Hinsdale, because we couldn't find anywhere that was selling bulk.
We grew some of our own,
Yeah.
and then, but they were all different sizes.
Yeah.
We didn't want to kill anyone to big of pumpkins.
So where'd all the pumpkins go and
They
stuff?
take them.
Oh, they do take them,
We
okay.
still have, we had to
Oh.
buy a crate this
Yeah.
big, so I still have, oh, I don't know, maybe 100 left. Yeah. Hopefully people like making pies of me now, or the farm stand, maybe that's all.
There you go.
Come get a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Pumpkin,
Yeah.
make a pie.
You could do other water carving in the pond.
Yeah, yeah,
There you go.
exactly.
I did that once, go back behind the bridge in Connecticut. That's hard. It's fun, but it's hard.
All right, well, I don't see any reasons that may, I think we've answered the questions that the fire chief would have, and if you are gonna be in that number range of 99 or more, reach out to the fire chief, but it might just be a good idea to reach out to the fire chief as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just like I said, if there's need be for emergency response, that there is, kind of like you've always started planning that way.
Yeah,
If something does occur, you are, so you have
Yeah,
access to
absolutely.
the area quickly.
for sure.
And I
Yeah,
would say,
that's very
to keep, that's a very busy street, as you know, you've been living there for a while now. It's just keep an eye on if there's a backup.
Yeah.
Get them in ASAP.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. Yeah, that street is wild. I actually just drove down the field the other day and noticed one of our trees was leaning in. It was all scuffed up and there were some parts to a car right on the field. So it was nerve wracking to be living there. We were just sitting there like, wow, this
Surprised you
is
didn't hear it.
It's really busy between like 7 and 9 in the morning and 3 and
That's
to
when
5:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's incredible
Yeah,
there.
it's- yeah.
But the officers are always sitting up on TV on the island there, so that always helps as well. And that speeding sign, that was spectacular.
Yeah, that was
worked
very
really well.
helpful.
All right.
Very nice.
All right.
I have no more.
I don't think that, I'm fine with it. I don't think there's any reasons why. I haven't seen anything.
Right.
Didn't hear anything why, any concerns. Like I said, I think we covered what Chief O'Grady may have had, and
Okay.
you've spoken to him as well, so.
Okay. I can reach out to them too if you guys think that's appropriate.
I think it's fine, it's appropriate, just
Okay.
if you kind of just want to reach out to them, say, just say, you met with the select board. Is there any other questions or concerns that you may have?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm sure if he does, he'll let you know, and
Okay.
he'll address those with you.
Okay.
And I would suggest you do the same thing with the fire department.
Okay.
Or
Take
anything
a
is,
trip
yeah.
up there and scope out.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we need a motion?
We're good?
That's it, yeah.
We're good.
You probably should have.
Yeah.
I will make a motion to approve the pumpkin pop-up fitness event at, I'm just gonna borrow this for a minute, 193 Amherst Street in Granby on October 15th. And the times were on here, I think, or maybe,
Is it 1 to 3 or? 9 to 12? 9 to 1?
yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it has times on here, but 9 till 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All right, is there any further discussion at this time? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? There you go.
Thank you.
All set.
Thank you, have fun.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. Yeah, it sounds like a good thing too. Let's see, let's get some time. 5:49. Let's see what we got. Departmental reports. Anybody have a chance to review? Anybody have any questions, concerns, comments?
I don't.
You don't?
Oh, I did have a question, and I don't know if Jeremy's not here, but I didn't know if Chris could maybe help. Do we know when the DEP is going to approve the no boiling order? Like what it, or lift
Lift the
it?
boil.
There you go.
They approved the boiling already.
Yes, when they are going to lift it.
I need to get a hold of the engineer that we had hired for that.
Okay,
She was waiting for, last time I did, she
Yeah.
was waiting for some information from the water operator. He says he's got it to her, so I just want to check with her if she's got it and then see how long it will take to get it to DEP for approval. and
Okay.
The rescission of the oil warrant.
But as far as the La Framboise, when they come here every month and they do the inspections or the water testing, it's been passed, right? Every time, so we're just waiting on the
Yes.
background of it to catch up, okay.
Yes.
I don't have any questions, but did you guys get a chance to go to the Cops and Bobbers?
I did not
Yes.
I didn't go.
You did, how was it?
I didn't go. I've been
Oh.
watching it, talking
Oh,
to Sheriff
okay.
a little bit.
I
It
was
seemed like
wondering
it
how
was
it
it was a nice turnout. It
Yeah.
seemed like they enjoyed it very much.
Yeah,
Great
Okay.
event.
Um, Yeah, I know I was reading Jeremy's report that he did some work down there for that too.
right.
I did have a question for Jeremy. I guess I was reading about brownells and they've been cutting the grass, and he's concerned about not having time to cut it every week, to kind of switch to every other week. My only concern with that is that I know it becomes an issue when we have soccer games and everything played out there for GA. So I'm just wondering if that's something, I think we're at the end of the year pretty much, where grass will grow maybe the next few weeks or so, it'll kind of really slow down. So if that's just something Jeremy can kind of keep an eye on, that doesn't get too long. I mean, if we cut it one or twice again, if we can stay on that weekly
Just for the
schedule for the
next
next couple weeks, I think it's going to slow down as soon as the cold weather gets here a little bit colder. It's not going to grow as quick, but,
Hopefully.
well, I think it
As long as
will.
it doesn't rain.
Yeah, but usually, get towards the November month, it kind of just kind of slows down. You don't have the warm days anymore. But I'm just thinking if we could, because it does tend to grow a little bit quicker now in the fall too. So I'm sure just to keep an eye on it, if we could just keep up that, I mean, probably, another week or two, additional weeks, they'd have to cut it. So maybe it's something we can think about trying to do. I think the people that go out there probably appreciate it. So.
Is he short-staffed? No.
What? My opinion? No. You ask any department head, they're
They're
short-staffed.
short-staffed.
Yeah. Yeah, I did notice that too. He wanted to go bi-weekly, and I was wondering the same thing, if it was gonna be too long for the soccer players,
Yeah.
especially the young ones. The older ones can, kick the ball a little bit harder to get it over the grass, but,
Well, I think too, like I said, it's always, when people, come out from other towns or other cities and are playing in our fields too, we want our fields to, represent, what we are and who we are in Granby, so we'd like to have them, try to keep them up as much as we can too.
I travel with my grandson's soccer team, and some fields are nice, some fields
I know.
aren't.
yeah.
I like to be the nice one.
But I'm just saying that.
I
you
know.
Run into
I
other
know.
towns that have the same issues.
And I've been there, but like I said, someone that represents the town, I would like to have our town try to be one of the nice ones.
No, and I agree,
So,
but like I said,
yeah.
sometimes it just can't happen.
No, I understand that. So, and it might be something really, for, the next year, really look at all the work that Jeremy has on his plate, if you will. Are we not, is it too much work for how the department's running right now? Should we look at that for the future as well, so. But that's, something to consider down the road. I mean, just like any other department, they look at, every year what their needs are, what their staffing things are to get their work done throughout the year. So, and it's, like, I know we bought some new equipment to kind of,
We don't have it in hand yet, though.
right, but,
We ordered it right after town meeting,
yeah,
and we're still waiting for it
Right.
to be delivered.
so I know we could talk about ordering some equipment that would kind of speed up the process of some of the work.
Yep.
So maybe it's, again, something to evaluate down the road, so.
Is that just a supply chain issue?
I believe so.
Yeah.
The tractor's available, it's the implements that go on it that you
Yeah.
can get.
All right. I will make a motion to accept all departmental reports.
So a
Second.
All right, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? All right. We have the approve and sign maintenance warrants.
Yes. All right, so I will make a motion to approve these 3 warrants. So warrant number 20, fiscal year 2023, dated 9/23/2022. It's a bills payable warrant in the amount of $838,613.46. Warrant number 21, do I still have to say fiscal year? Because we're done, we closed out fiscal year 2022.
Now,
So.
we have one more warrant.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I only have to say fiscal year 2022 for that one.
Yes.
Okay. This one is a payroll warrant. It's dated September 27th, 2022, in the amount of $450,443.48. And then I have the maintenance warrant, number 22, dated September 30th, 2022, in the amount of $512,706.27.
Yeah. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Is there any further discussion this time?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is anybody opposed? All right, moving right along, we have the Aldrich Street Water Wheel Building. Talk about that.
In front of you, you have a letter from the building inspector, or building commissioner, regarding the old water wheel building on Aldrich Street. As a result of recent rains and other items, he has noted that the wheelhouse has deteriorated more.
The sinkhole?
Yeah. It's gotten to the point where he wants to invoke Mass General Law, Chapter 143, and first to create a survey board, which will consist of the highway superintendent as a public engineer, the building commissioner, the fire chief, and one independent individual, and that person is Henry Clement, has volunteered to do it. And he is, his living is dealing with historic structures. So, the survey board will go out. They will look at the site, evaluate it, and then send a report back to the board of selectmen. Based upon that report, Mr. Aldrich will receive a copy of it, and he may be required to take the building down. If he does not do that, then the Board of Selectmen can authorize the building commissioner to take it down. And what would happen is the cost that we incur will be leaned on Mr. Aldrich's property. So.
Chris, could you just repeat who's part of the committee? It would be
Dave
building.
DeRozier,
Yeah,
he's
but-
the public engineer.
Okay.
Chief O'Neill, that's the fire chief. Frank Briggs as the building commissioner. And Henry Clement
Okay.
as the disinterested party.
So we're gonna appoint a survey board to?
You don't
do it?
have to appoint.
No?
It's convened under Mass General Law, it's convened by the building commissioner. It's not the selectmen allowed to.
Okay.
Did Mr. Aldrich not hire an engineer?
Correct.
And I take it by this being action, doesn't want to?
That is my impression, yes.
I could do that.
Because I believe if you read the letter that Mr. Briggs had sent almost a year and a half ago, Associated Building Records were ready to come in and take down the building. They had a remediation plan in place. However, we believe the Conservation Commission was looking for another report. Where is it? Right, the Conservation Commission wanted the public engineer to complete the site stabilization plan. And that was back in around late June. And to date, Mr. Aldrich has not done so.
Any explanation why?
He claims he hired a contractor, Associated Building Records, and that they should be paying for the engineer to do that. And I've heard, and I haven't heard this firsthand, is that they're concerned with getting reimbursed for the cost of said engineer.
Okay, so it sounds like there was no contract or something to have the
Right.
engineer.
So there is a concern there on their part. However, the building sits and winter is coming. There was a concern over it being hurricane season, and sometimes you can get a lot of rain during this season, and could cause the slope to destabilize even further. The biggest concern is if that building does decide to fall down, slide down the hill,
Yeah.
there could be an environmental impact because it would go right into the stream, right at the bottom of that hill. And that could create an even bigger headache than trying to take care of it before it falls.
Yes.
What is PE? The
Public
cons-
engineering.
Okay, thank you.
So the survey board, if they come back to the select board and recommend that the structure is taken down, would they have an estimate of what that's going to cost the town?
I don't think they will. They won't have that cost.
Is
That's
that-
not one of their requirements.
Okay.
They're only required to go and look at the structure and basically to decide what needs to be done with the building to make
Yeah.
it stop being a public safety hazard.
Well, we'll wait and see what their
Correct.
report is before we go any further, obviously, but just curious if it does happen and the town is required to remove the structure, the cost, and appropriating funds for that, so.
Well, with it being a public emergency or a public safety hazard,
mhm.
we can spend and then try and get an appropriation at town meeting subsequently.
Okay.
See, we're in a tough spot because we're close to having a town meeting, but we're not ready for the town
Well,
meeting.
that's my question, because we'd have to, I'm sure it's gonna be an expensive cost to the town, so just wondering where, if it came to it, we'd have to appropriate the funds till we receive the funds back at some point in time.
Well, depending upon how much it's going to cost, we do have a large reserve fund under the control of the finance committee this year. So we may be able to request the funds out of that.
Okay,
And then maybe replenish those at a later time.
okay.
If you want, I can try and get a hold of Associated Building Records and ask, do they have an approximate cost?
I think that would be helpful, because it just based on, obviously, some of the reading already, it kind of seems like the structure is unsafe. So, like, you know, I would find it hard to believe that they're gonna come back with something different, just based on what they've already seen. What Mr. Briggs has already, what it has already seen with the structure and actions already taken, so it sounds like that's would most likely be the way that it would, the outcome would be, but I'd kind of like to know going into it, you know, if there's some type of cost, or what the cost would be associated with it, instead of kind of waiting and then prolonging it down further. Especially is that there's, you know, it sounds like there's really some true concerns to what can happen with that too, and, you know, get some heavy rain or, you know, something happens, as you stated, Chris, to the structure, and it starts to slide down the hill, and, so, just,
It's pretty flat there. The riverside, I think, is the issue.
yeah.
But where is it eroding? Towards the bridge or towards the road?
No,
Don't know.
I have not been on site, so I can't advise you on that.
Yeah, it already sounds like Mr. Aldridge has already kind of considered tearing it down, so it sounds like that's already the conclusion of where it may end up anyways, but just based on that part there as well, so.
In the letter, Chris, it says the public engineer is George Costa of Ludlow, but Dave DeRocher is going to do it?
Dave DeRocher is the town
Okay,
public engineer.
so he's going to be on our survey, but,
What they're
okay.
saying is that when the Conservation Commission was looking for a public engineer to complete the site stabilization plan,
Yeah,
they forwarded a name of Mr.
George
What's
Costa.
his name?
They authorized me to initiate the contracts with the public engineer George Costa of Ludlow and ABW.
Right.
Yep, okay, so that was back in 2021.
Okay.
It's a 2 to 3 day project, including stabilization.
Just trying to keep the board apprised of what's going on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
it's unfortunate, but, you know, there's a lot of history there with the water wheel, and obviously things go on. So we look to hearing from Mr. Briggs and the survey board on the results of their, I guess, their inspection.
yeah.
Well, Forge Pond, Let's see, I'm sorry, anybody have any questions in regards to
No,
Aldrich?
No, thank you.
Forge Pond?
Forge Pond, yes, I met with
Solid Mount.
Dave Winter. He was the one who did our initial inspection of the dam. I asked him to go out again and take another look just to make sure that that there's nothing else that's going wrong with it. He feels that he doesn't believe that there's anything else that is going wrong. Seeing how we took the trees down, that was the major concern of the state like 2 years ago. However, he did give me 3 alternatives for dealing with the tire wall and of the dam. Alternative 1 was to replace the tire wall with a concrete wall. His estimate to do that is $911,000 in construction costs and $80,000 in design and permitting. Then we have option number 2 is to replace the tire wall with a stone masonry wall. And basically that would be like riprap, put the big stones down.
Mm-hmm.
That would be about $770,000 for construction and $75,000 for engineering and permitting. And then alternative number 3 would be to remove the dam completely. That would be $944,000, and design and permitting would be $183,000. Now, what if we decided to go for state grants for this? Those grants come out at the beginning of every year. It's a 25% match on the part of the town. And what we would have to do is do it in 2 phases. The first application would be for engineering, design, and permitting. Once that is done, then we would apply for the actual construction grant. And as I said, there's a 25% match requirement on behalf of the town.
So they would pay 75% and we would pay the 25%.
Yes.
Maintenance. So what, I don't know if we can even project this from the engineer, but what would be the maintenance with either option? So obviously getting rid of the dam, there's no maintenance after that.
No maintenance, no inspections.
Okay.
But the reason why the engineering part and permitting part is so expensive is because, number 1, an analysis would have to be made regarding any probable impact on the lands downstream from the dam if we have a major rain event or a major storm event. Additionally, if we took the dam down, we would have to determine if the wells of the properties along Forge Pond are shallow wells. If they are shallow wells, then their water would be compromised. So we require the town to probably have to dig deep wells for them as part of this project.
Is that something that they would be able to find out during the permitting process?
Probably, they would probably be able, they would have to go
Right.
in and do an investigation as to look at that.
So I'm just noticing the difference in cost in the engineering, design, and permit for each alternative. And like you said, the most expensive would be alternative 3 because they have to look more in depth into what it's going to do.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm like wondering if we should do the engineer, design, and permit as if we were doing alternative number 3 without saying we're can we say we don't know which option we're gonna do until after we figure out how it's gonna impact everyone around that area? Because what if we are now looking at, I don't know, if we're digging everyone a well, how many houses are we digging? Like, you know what I mean?
That would probably be a better conversation with, if we're going out to bid
Okay.
for engineering design and permitting.
Okay,
That would be a better question to ask of an engineering firm.
Okay.
To say, could we say we're looking at removal and then find out, no, now we want to switch over to wall replacement?
right,
And maybe Dave Leonard can probably give us maybe an answer to that too. Because he deals with DEP and DCR on a more regular
Yeah.
basis.
How's the integrity of it now?
I believe it's starting to erode underneath
The
the
tires?
dam, underneath the tires.
Okay.
It is still in poor condition. But like I said, by removing the trees,
Slow that down.
DCR or the dam commission, whatever you
Yeah.
go by, are satisfied with us having removed the trees, but we just can't let it continue on like it's going.
Yeah, I'd like to have some input from the residents up there in Forge Pond. Wasn't there like a Friends of Forge Pond or something?
Yeah, that was the one that came here
Yeah,
one
some
time.
time ago. I'd like to, because I know they had some concerns about
the shallow wells.
the shallow wells, which was brought up already, but also removing the dam. I think that a lot of people are kind of really against that. So obviously look at what's the best option for the town and for the residents, but I'd like to also hear from them as well again.
I totally agree on that.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't want to see it ripped down. I'd like to see us
I
fix it
don't, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
somehow.
'cause I know they, you know, that's in just some of the concerns they had, not just the wells, but some of the other things that go on up there.
Right, yeah, no.
So
I think we
good.
need to hear from
Yeah,
the engineer and design people on this.
Well, we didn't put it out to bid yet.
right, it hasn't gone out, but it'd be nice to kind of,
Or
well,
give
I guess
them
we're
a-
looking at what we're looking to do, is it, you know, what alternative we're looking to do.
Well, I think that should be the decision of the board. You know,
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying right now.
But all I'm saying is the board, you don't need all this input. You need to decide, do you want to keep the dam? That's your first question. Sounds like Rick says, yes, keep the dam. Okay? Sounds like you're leaning towards keeping the dam. Okay?
Yep,
So, we eliminate alternative 3. Do we want to go with a cement dam or a stone dam?
well, my question to that is that, what is the longevity? One versus the other. Obviously, there's, you know, it looks like there's about $100,000 difference between the concrete wall and the stone masonry wall. So with that said, what's going to require least amount of maintenance, what's going to last the longest? Does the extra 100,000 now outweigh that?
And I believe Mr.
Yeah, I agree.
Leonard
I agree.
could probably give you those
Yeah.
answers.
Okay.
Mr. Leonard, the one I have doing the inspection.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I would like to know the longevity of it too. I think the stone masonry wall would look beautiful.
I-
But will
would
it
agree.
be, yeah, will
well,
it be?
It depends if it's just the riprap, or are they bringing in these big concrete blocks
Yeah.
and
I
setting
think-
one, boom, 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 and going
Yeah,
up
that's
with
true.
Would you like me to invite Mr. Leonard to come to our next meeting? if we
Yeah.
can make it?
it? Yes.
That would be good.
And then
I would.
we move forward with which alternative we want to go from there.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, really, there's no really difference between, I mean, alternative 1 and alternative 2. Well, there is, and that's, the big chunk of money is the wall.
Yeah,
So, um, will we send it out, the first part of it, for engineering, design, and permit? I mean, roughly that's about the same cost regardless of which way we go. I mean, I guess it'd be helpful to kind of, if you want to see what it's going to look like as far as the wall, maybe you can show some pictures of what the stone masonry wall would look like versus a concrete wall. Kind of picture what that's going to look like.
You can drive by the Aldrich Lake Dam, and that's a concrete wall.
Yeah. Yeah, we have them come in and we can talk to them a little bit about it. Like I said, that seems to be the big difference in cost between the two of them. And I would have thought just the opposite. I would have thought the stone masonry wall would have required a lot more labor to do than
The concrete.
the concrete, yeah. But,
Gotta do all the footings and everything, it's time consuming.
yeah.
Yeah, concrete still involves setting up forms and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very good. When I watched them do the Aldrich Dam, it was pretty.
No, I know, I would have thought the concrete would have been less. I know there's a lot of prep work goes into it, but
Yeah,
Right.
it's just boring.
just pouring after everything, all the prep work's done. But, so, we can have Mr. Leonard come in and we can talk to him about it, it'd be great, Chris.
So Chris, you said that the grant process is due in January?
I think he says the grants come out beginning of the year, so.
Okay. Is this,
He was gonna keep his eye open for it
okay.
and let me know when they
Yeah.
start becoming available so that we could try and get the engineering, design, and permitting. grant.
Okay. And so this would still be a 2-year process, right? The first year, all the engineering and permitting, and then the second year it would happen?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be the question too, is that, what's our time frame there too, as far as the structure of the wall and, you know, how safe the dam and stuff's gonna be.
Well,
This
I'm
is good.
hoping his inspection
Yeah.
will be able to.
Yeah.
If it's gonna take almost 2 years to really kind of redo everything, or at least a year before they get into that process of replacing it, so make sure. Okay. All right, we have the 6:15, 6:25 now, but to confirm the appointments for West Street School Building Review Committee.
In the appointment folder in front of you.
These are all for you to
I
sign.
believe was some names.
Oh, right here. No,
You guys have-
this is correspondence, it might be that one.
Cross elimination, yes it is.
So that's one we already,
That's already good. Appointed, okay. So what is, well, I mean, we can appoint them. But then we also gotta decide what they're charging them with as well, so they know what their responsibility is. So, everybody see all the names on the list?
do you want me to read them for the public at home, so they know who's on the committee?
We will, yeah, I just wanted
You
to.
can, just so you know, Jeremy Carrier indicated that he would rather not serve on the committee, but be available to answer any questions regarding the current condition.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay, so with that brings us down to 7, which is fine.
All right, so the West Street School Building Review Committee would be Stephen Shonaki, Gabe Pula, Henry Clement, Jennifer Silva, Lynn Mercier, Micheline Turgeon, Dale Clark, and Jeremy Carey will be there for assistance on the current condition of West Street School.
So, right, so he's actually won't be part of the committee.
The committee, okay.
Is there a second?
Oh. I have no problem with that. What are we tasking them with? And do we really need them after the last meeting that we had here?
Well, I think we were talking about what is needed
Yeah.
for either two things, either whether West Street School is kept, what is need for office spaces inside there, or for the new building is what the town decides to do. What is need for office space as well? What are some of the options that we would provide? I think that's what, last time I think we kind of
That's what
did
we
a
talked
rough,
about that, but.
did a rough estimate of numbers, but really what is needed,
Okay,
so.
I'll second that motion then for the committee.
Okay. Any further discussion at this time? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay.
And we're appointing them through June 30th of
2023. Yes.
June 30th of 2023, yes,
Okay.
correct.
We'll send out the letters letting them know they've been appointed to the West Street School Building Review Committee. And it's, so people understand, it's the actual building, not building school. It's actually the structure. So,
And you
and,
could cross it. I agree with you. Correct.
yeah.
Well, get rid of school and just call it West Street
Building.
Building.
Okay.
Yeah, it does get
That's it,
confusing
yeah.
when you leave the school in there.
Yeah.
We don't want
So
people
we'll
to
just
think
call
we're
it
building
West
another
Street
school
Building
here.
Review Committee, yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
So that's what we'll task them with that, so we'll amend the
Former
appointment
title.
to be known as the West Street Building Review Committee. I think what we task them with is, I guess they kind of, we talked about prior, was that what is needed, or they'll reach out to different town officials and departments to see what is needed and how we could do that, and give us some options of what they think is.
I think, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And a good resource right now is East Hampton. I think they're trying to rehab 2 of their old closed-up schools.
Mhm.
It was just in the news.
Right, I think two of the things that we're looking at is office space
Mhm.
for all the town halls, and also the
COA.
senior center, the COA, so we can kind of look at what we have here. What's a good fit for, is this a good fit for us to stay here? Or is it a better fit to kind of look at office space? What's needed, I guess, we'll look at
Yes.
as far as square footage on both sides too, not just for town office space, but also what is needed for space for the COA as well.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I think we're looking at as far as what's going to come out of the school. Kind of give them some ideas what can be done as far as space-wise and things like that, so when that comes up to vote
And we
at
want
the
to
town
keep,
meeting.
we want to keep both buildings under 7,500 square feet, right, Chris? So we don't have to do that special sprinkler system.
Look at what it would cost to have a cistern.
Okay.
Right. And I think we look at what is needed for space, and what's the best way to do that. Best affordable way.
It's just as cheap to bury a large 10,000 gallon cistern into the ground.
Good thing.
That would be charged for the fire suppression system.
Yeah.
I guess for myself, too, one thing I'd want to know too is that, I know they're looking at what is needed for space, for office space, as well as what's needed for the COA, the senior center, but also is what this building could be used as well. What are some of the recommendations as far as space-wise, what this building can be used for as well, as far as space and what is needed. And we talked a little bit about whether or not we could sell this building or not, offset some of the costs if we were to renovate or build a new building, or what may happen. So those are kind of some of the things to talk about as well. But I think the first thing is just what we need for space, a true number for each office, each
They also have storage,
up.
right? They have certain rules where they have to keep us,
Yep.
the documents on hand.
Yep, so whatever's needed for a building, so.
You know, there's, and I can't remember what it was, it's X amount of square feet per employee.
Oh, like the regulations?
Because that's just what we did with our new courthouse. We needed X amount of square feet for our staff.
All right.
All right, so
We
first
just
have,
to be
Each
figured that
department
part
has
out.
1 or 2 staff, so I
Yeah,
don't,
yeah.
we should have too much more help with with the space.
so just so it's clear, they're going to be looking for what is needed for each department for office space, storage, et cetera, and for the COA. And they're going to come up with different options.
Right, so if the
Okay.
town says we want to renovate the West Street building, old school building, okay, then is that enough space to do what we want to do? If it is, then, you know, if the schools, say if the school's 30,000 feet, what section could we look at using? Or if the town decides, no, I think we're going to tear the structure down and we'd like to, you know, rebuild a different building.
Then we can do
Would that
those
be?
2 buildings that
Yeah.
the previous committee
Yeah.
talked about.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my belief is that it's all gonna come down to a cost, what the cost is as far as the town. And as we said, we have a lot of things that are coming up as far as projects in the future for the town, so
Yes.
things to consider. But this is our starting point. At the town meeting, we'll get a decision whether or not to tear down the building or not tear down the building, and then at that time, we'll move forward with that.
But we don't have any updated costs yet, right, Chris, from the previous study? We were gonna try and update the
From
costs that were from the
the-
Was that
2018.
me or was that with Barry?
That was you, the gentleman there.
Okay,
I'm gonna reach out, yeah, 'cause I'd rather have us do it than,
okay. No, that's fine.
That's all.
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, I think I was visiting the men's room when
you
you
might have
made the
been,
decision, so.
okay. But yeah, I'd like to say that, just at this point, I know Lou has had a lot of contact with the gentleman, but I'd like for it just to stay with the town at this point in time. So. All right. What else we got here? We affirmed our appointment for the Council on Aging Advisory Board already. Correspondence, we did correspondence.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Was there any update on Dufrain?
We're still waiting for
Playground?
a company to get back to us with a revised price. Once we have that, we're going to want to.
The revised price, does that include the part that was delaminating and replacing that?
Yes, because the company the representative from the company who usually installs it for M.E. O'Brien, I think is the name of the company, recommended instead of repairing the platform,
Yep,
to replace it.
I read that, yeah.
So we're trying to make sure everybody's on the same playing field. So we
Okay.
put that out to the other 2 people
Okay.
that did previously to revise their numbers accordingly. We're still waiting for a company to get back to us.
Okay.
All right. Chris, I remember last meeting you brought up something about the seniors and a program that would offset costs for taxes.
Yes.
and do that. I know I did get a chance to read it. Wait, you get a chance to read it?
Yeah,
I think-
yeah.
Well, I tried to get here earlier today, but it was a crazy day at work, so, I do have 2 documents that you should have in front of you
I
that
did see- I
Chris
saw the
made
one, yeah.
copies of.
Is that any
So,
different from the email that he sent us or no?
yes, because
It's the same
these
thing,
were the
okay.
ones where I went to the town's websites. One of them attached all his documentation, and the other one I had to go to their town website and navigate it and bring up the documents and then print them all out.
Okay, yeah.
So what most communities are calling it is SWAP, which is the senior work off, hold on.
Abatement program.
Thank you. I'm like, hold on, I gotta get the acronym down. So the senior work off abatement program. So if you look at the one that was sent today, I know it wasn't sent till later, but it shows you what Southwick does, what West Springfield does, what East Long Meadow, Ware, and Holyoke. Depending on the town or the city, they have different requirements. Some make it so that you have to have under a certain income. Some make it where there's no income guidelines at all. Some have slots where they only accept so many people in the community that can be put into the pool, and then they're randomly selected each year on who gets the abatement. Some do it so that you have 10 seniors and then 10 veterans. So, I mean, it's kind of what we want to do as far as who is eligible for it. Of course, the bigger areas, they have 40 slots. Some don't have any cap on them. Holyoke does 45 to 60 that they'll receive every year, but they only give away 30 spots. So it's a lottery is how they work it. So the one that was most detailed, we have the West Springfield one, the town of Ware, and town of East Long Meadow. Those were the ones that were most detailed, and I provided the documentation for Ware and for East Long Meadow, so at least we have a starting point, so we're not trying to recreate everything. Some of these towns have been doing it since the early 2000s, so they've worked out the kinks and they found what works for them, what doesn't. And some, like Ware, didn't start until 2018, so.
Well, I guess the first part we look at is whether or not we want to do it. And then if we do want to do it, how do we make it work?
Yep.
But also, how much can a town afford? Because anything that we do, it's obviously going to come off the revenue to the town. So that's something we need to look at too. And I think, you know, also having a cap or a certain number is important, so we know how much it's costing the town each year.
What exactly kind of work would these people, the seniors, be doing?
Well, that's the question too.
So if we look at the East Long Meadow one, they have them supporting the town departments and allow free staffing support for town departments is what East Long Meadow does. And they have to log their hours. So they have to do so many hours. And then whoever they work for, whatever department they're working for, they're doing the volunteer. They're working. It's not really volunteer, but they get also a evaluation from the department committee, or the department head, I should say, on how they did, whether they're meeting expectations, if they are completing the tasks that they're given. So it also holds them accountable as well, that they're not just coming in and hanging out for, you know, however many hours. And this one does it 125 hours. So they have to complete 125 hours of service to the town before they can get the abatement.
That's for the maximum abatement, correct?
Yeah, to get the maximum abatement, correct. Yep.
So what's that? What do we, I don't know.
So we would have to probably see which departments would be willing to do this, right? Or what, maybe get a list of different tasks that they could do for them in helping them with their needs.
What about, does it fall under workman's comp? If you get injured, I don't know, whatever, sweeping floors or something.
Well, they would because you're being paid.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, yeah, I guess they're being paid. It's more of an abatement off their taxes than being.
So it's compensation.
It's compensated,
Yeah.
being compensated for work.
Then how much does that cost us?
Well, we have employees, we have employees.
Yeah.
All depends how much you're willing to put into the program.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we want to look at doing it, right?
I think it would be beneficial for many of our seniors who are on fixed incomes, and, you know, the cost of living just keeps going up, and they don't get the cost of living raises that other people get.
So definitely something we want to look at doing. So kind of what you stated, Rick, too, is what would we have people doing? I think is so a couple things we need to look at, actually a few things, is what people would be, what would they be doing to, for the abatement for the taxes? What is the amount, the maximum amount that someone could receive? What is the maximum number of people that could participate in it? What are the qualifications for the people to participate in the program? What else would it be?
Income limits.
Huh?
Income limits.
Well, that's what, right, that's would be, like I said, one of the qualifications to be in the program. So obviously you'd have an age requirement, it's for the seniors.
Yeah.
So you'd have to come in, I think I saw a couple of other towns were at 60, yep. So then, again, I think an income part is important as well.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to help people that are in need. Not to say that everybody's not in need nowadays. But, and again, how many people could we have participate in the program that we could do it so it's effective? You said, you know.
What was where? Was where 10 people?
Hold on. Where is 10 civilians, so 10 seniors and 10 veterans. So they split it up half-half. So they have a maximum of 20. But what I liked about East Long Meadows is it has here, all applicants who have been verified as meeting the SWAP in steps B through D will be considered for the posted job positions. So that's what we have to get from the different departments. What are the needs? And there would be like posted job positions that they could do that they'd be applying for to, in order to get into the program. And then there would be or we could have, what was it called? Orientation, where they would come in for orientation and then it would start. So they're not just thrown in there and like, hey, do the job. They actually are
Well, right.
go
yeah.
through the background of what they're doing
Yeah.
and how to do it and stuff.
So I think we'd have to look at
And it's
each
an-
area, each department to see what, first of all, is there a need, if they could use somebody. What would that need be? How many hours are we looking at a week? You know, for the maximum, and what would be the total amount that would come off someone's taxes? Again, are we going to do it on a scale where, I think you talked about, there's a maximum number of hours you can work, so the
Yeah.
maximum amount of number you could work would be this, or we get a set where the highway department says we need someone 10 hours a week. So that person would work there for 10 hours a week, for, you know, 6 months, and then they need the qualifications to have their taxes, an abatement, not abatement, but partial part of their taxes paid. I guess those are kind of things we need
There's
to
a lot
look
of
at.
things, yeah.
Yeah. So I think first of all is really to look
So
at
whatever they're
what's
working
needed.
for would be their abatement.
Right. So I think first starting spot would be, what if each department, if they need somebody, if they do, what would be their needs and, requirement for qualifications, what do you need someone for? Then, the hours that you would need someone for as
Yeah,
well.
you got to match up the seniors with their physical
Yeah.
abilities to do
Yeah.
that.
Right,
Task.
and I think we
Yeah.
kind of look at too, that we have a nice variety of different things for people to do.
Absolutely.
So we can really meet a diverse population that we have,
Yeah.
that, we're not just looking at everybody to do office work. There's different things that people can do, and be part of.
And they have it, something to think about too, they have them working the year before, so January 1st to November 30th, and the abatement is applied the following year
Yeah,
to their tax bill.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
I saw that.
So,
That's a good
yeah.
idea.
All right, so, is that an email to all the departments, Chris, out there saying, what, if we were to do the senior work-off abatement program, what could you have seniors, could you use a senior? And what could you use them for? Or what positions? Yeah, so that's where it gets confusing, right? Because we want to post it as a job position. Yeah. And then I think it's
I
also,
have to think about it.
Yeah, well, we could table it to our next meeting,
Yeah.
keep it as a discussion, and then, kind of what we need and moving forward, and kind of go from there. We're starting it. I think we're all in agreement that it's something good for the town, and
Good for
just
the
kind of,
seniors,
yeah,
too.
yeah, well, yeah.
and I think it's a conversation, like you said, that needs to be had with the finance committee, the town accountant, so we can see, like, what can we afford and
Right,
how much, what's the maximum number of slots that we can do and stuff like
right.
that.
Yep, yeah, because
And take into consideration our small population too, so.
but I think we're on the right path.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's everything for our agenda.
There is one more thing here that was put in front of us. Do you want me to read it, Chris, about the Boy Scout? Or do we just sign it? I thought so, because just in case it's presented at the, yes.
We'll do that afterwards, or this time.
All right, I think we did everything.
All right.
Oh, sorry, Chris, was there any more on the dredging of the pond? The bids that came in?
No, it's about done,
Okay,
and it looks like they'll be awarding it to
okay.
Just the study you talked about. that's
Yeah,
good.
just the study.
feasibility
The
study.
feasibility study, yeah.
Okay, and no word on anyone applying for the grant position, huh? Yeah. A lot of them, it's by job. Like, nobody goes out and finds grants for you anymore. You have to find the grant and then tell them what you want them to do. I did talk to the fire department because I know they have 4 grants that they're writing, and they subcontract it out.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, for the people, just to make sure that they have the correct wording so that they get the grant. So I think it's gonna be on the, hopefully we can get a grant writer, but right now, the police chief, the fire chief, they all carry the weight of the grant writing, or the fire department, I should say, because it's not just the fire chief doing it. So,
Is there any local colleges that are,
I looked into the Eisenberg, but I never heard back from anyone. Nobody ever contacted me back about grant writing.
where's the iceberg one? Is that Elms?
I don't know
Um,
if the only other one I would think it would be the Collins Group, maybe.
Well, most of the firms that you go out to, you work with, is that they're, like you kind of said, they make sure that all the information that is required by the grant is in your proposal. So you're not leaving anything out, you're not missing anything, and
Right.
so really just increases your chances of receiving the grant, so you're not leaving out information.
And you don't get points off for,
Right, because you're missing something,
Right.
or something was not correct, and you kind of make sure all the information's there, and kind of really give it a once over to make sure that you not miss anything.
So the one that I was really concerned about that we missed last year was the one stop. So is that something that we should subcontract out to someone, Chris? Or maybe get Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to help us with it? So it's the one that has the 10 grants. It's all bundled one up together.
what projects do you want? That's the problem.
Okay.
Nobody has an idea of what you want to spend it on.
Okay.
You really have to have an idea of what you want to spend it on. before
We
you
have,
start.
we have lots of stuff we need in town,
You
right?
need, but is it in a form that you can explain it to someone to put it in a grant application?
Okay.
Yeah, we need new computers.
Mhm.
Well, what are you looking for? You know what I'm saying? It's just.
Okay. So you gotta get the language behind
You
it.
gotta get an idea of exactly what you're looking to accomplish,
Okay.
so you can at least put it into a grant that sounds like the need is there, and this is how it's gonna improve our operations.
Okay.
Well,
500 characters or less.
let's figure it out,
Yeah.
right? So,
I'll look more into what the grant, or the 10 grants, like what their parameters are, and see,
if need be, maybe we can put together, a working committee or something like that from the town, made up, some different individuals from the town that may have some knowledge and expertise or resources, in that, so we can kind of start looking at it. Again, it'd be nice to, I always say there's grant out there, and then especially if they're, tax-based funded, it's taxpayers' money. If we can
right,
bring some of that money back to Granby, it's always a plus.
You just have to understand there's usually a match that goes
Right.
along with it.
Yeah,
right,
well, it's got to be worth it for us to do something, but if, for your, as you made, if it's a 50% match for computers, and it's going to cost us $100,000, well, $50,000 us to spend is better than $100,000. So. But and like we said, we've seen other grants and things like that, and different stipulations come with those grants, and what you have to meet and how you have to spend it, and so on and so forth. And sometimes the grants can be, more costly than they're worth sometimes. So.
Follow-up report.
Yeah.
requirements.
yeah.
So, okay, it's something to keep on our agenda, something to keep on talking about, something to figure out. So, all right.
Okay.
Is there anything else? Okay.
No.
No? All right. Well, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Good man. Any further discussion? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No? All right, thank you.